Welcome to the David Pakman Show. I am, of course, not David Pakman. I am Benjamin Dixon, host of the Benjamin Dixon Show, filling in for David Pakman. He is on his way to Las Vegas. He will be broadcasting from there the rest of the week, so be sure to be back here tomorrow for the David Pakman Show with David Pakman. Lewis, how's it going?
It's going great. Good to have you here. Nice
Thanks
change of pace.
Yeah, it is. In a different seat, just doing my part here. Big day in New York City, primary day in New York. It is a huge deal. There's a lot going on with that story in the background. However, there's an article that came out showing that over 63,000 people in Brooklyn, not throughout all of New York, but just in Brooklyn alone, found themselves with their voter registration changed. New York City is a closed primary state. So with their registration and their party affiliation being changed, that was 63,000 Democrats that woke up and realized that they won't be able to vote in this primary because their affiliation has been changed. The organization called Election Justice USA has filed a federal lawsuit. They are seeking an injunction so that they can essentially give everyone who has ever been registered as a Democrat, anyone who met the deadline, give them the opportunity to vote, even if it's with a provisional ballot. But we also know that with provisional ballots, a lot of times those don't count. And so as a part of this lawsuit, they have sought the opportunity for provisional ballots to be counted today in New York City. So there's a lot going on. Actually, there was a hearing this morning at 9 a.m. and that has not been resolved. There's a second hearing, just getting word, that's going to happen at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're in New York City and you're wondering about your registration, if you're wondering about your polling location, I definitely recommend checking out Election Justice USA, checking out their lawsuit. They are recommending that people, if you were registered, to go vote. But that's not the only thing, Lewis. There's two other types of systematic, it seems, suppression. And that includes voting locations being changed at the last minute. And it also includes your voting time to have changed. There are 7 counties that have the standard time from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. But every other county in New York City is now only having voting between 12 noon and 9 p.m. So you have 3 different ways that it seems to be voter suppression in New York City. I don't know. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it is overwhelmingly impacting Democratic voters. And it seems to be focused right there inside of Brooklyn. What do you think?
It's strange because normally this is the type of thing you would see during the general election, right? And voting for your Senate members, voting for whoever. This is strange because this is happening during a primary. And so who is it that is trying to make sure people are not voting, and why are they doing it? It's
Right.
not the normal Republicans trying to lower overall voter turnout because it's good for them.
Right.
So that is my question.
And that's the thing that really is most striking to me, is that this is happening in the Democratic Party. As a matter of fact, in the same article, it mentions that Republican turnout has increased in every single county. And Democratic turnout, or rather not turnout, but voter registration has increased in many counties, but you had a 7% decrease in Brooklyn alone. And so, realistically, it's hard for people not to connect the dots. You understand? So people see this is happening in Brooklyn. It's happening to young voters who registered, even if at the last minute, they registered by the deadline. And it's happening to people who have been registered Democrats for a very long time. It's hard for people not to automatically connect those dots. And so I think someone really needs to come out here, Lewis, and really talk about how this happened, why this happened, and how it can never happen again.
It's important. Unfortunately, it most likely will happen again. And it's not just the Republicans who are trying to
Right.
do shady things to win elections for their candidates. It's happening everywhere.
And that's thank you so much, Lewis, for pointing that out, because really, when we talk about voter suppression, we always look at the Republicans. In reality, this type of suppression that's taking place, even if it's negligence, even if it's a systemic error in the software, whatever caused it, this is suppression 101 in the Democratic ranks, and something needs to be done about it. And thankfully, Election Justice USA is doing it.